Are you leaning to your own understanding? See, there's a reason Solomon doesn't want God's children to lean. Because he knows, because we are all limited beings, that when I lean to my own understanding, which is limited, it's not going to be difficult to deceive me. Because I'm already showing partiality to something other than God. Woo-wee. And that's the reason a lot of folk, when they are leaning, if you'll ever notice, they often end up being deceived. And when folk get deceived, it's not like they just got deceived in 24 hours. No. If you will look back at the history, if you'll look back at the report, if you'll look back at how they was talking and how they were thinking and the things that they were doing before they actually got duped or put under a spell or bewitched, they had been leaning for months. They had been leaning, some folk, for years, showing favor or partiality to something other than God. Oh, Lord, being more dedicated to the instructions of a best friend rather than the commandments of God. You were leaning, and you have to understand, anytime we lean, if a pastor leans, he's going to be deceived. If an elder leans, he's going to be deceived. If a deacon leans, he's going to be deceived. It doesn't matter. This is the reason Solomon warns us not to lean to our own understanding. Because when you lean and get deceived, it's going to cost you. Nobody is going to get deceived without paying a cost. Sometimes the cost to getting deceived is as simple as you lose respect from people who once valued. Most folk have heard Proverbs 3 and 5 quoted at some point in their life, which again warns us not to lean to our own understanding. But even in the church, you have those who will not take such a warning seriously, if you will. But see, even Solomon, if you study the history of Solomon, who was one of the wisest men to ever live, saving Jesus, even Solomon himself got caught leaning. Oh God, I come to warn somebody that the one thing you don't want to get caught doing is leaning. Oh God, I don't want to get caught leaning in the midst of a pandemic. I don't want to get caught leaning in the midst of trouble. I don't want to get caught leaning when evil men are trying to seduce people. I don't want to get caught leaning when the Antichrist is approaching. I don't want to get caught leaning. But sadly, the setup is on, and saints of God are leaning. You have to understand, when it comes to the Antichrist, John makes it plain, even in his day and age, when he wrote to the little children, that he said that there are already many Antichrists among you. People who deny Christ, people who are hostile toward Christ. Who does Christ represent? The anointed one. But more than that, Christ represents the church. Why is so many people so hostile toward the church during this pandemic? Why are people more concerned about shutting down the church, but not so concerned with shutting down the liquor store? What is happening in our day and time that saints cannot even see that the church is the main target of what is taking place? Pastors are being threatened not to open the church doors. But it's amazing how you hear folk say stuff like, well, Pastor, we got to have these grocery stores. They are essential to life. And some of you will argue up and down that, Pastor, if they close Food Depot, if Kroger refuse to open, if Publix will not open up the door, people are going to be in trouble, Pastor, because food is essential. Yet I remind you, leaning one, that food is not the only thing that is essential, because Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. How are you living without God's word? You said, Pastor, I live stream, but you're never to get satisfied live streaming, because God did not say forsake not live streaming. He said forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. But when you get caught leaning, you're defending something you should be condemning. But it ain't you, you're just leaning. It ain't no sense in nobody getting mad, because I've leaned more than a time or two in my walk. I've leaned when I shouldn't have been leaning. Don't get mad at me. But see, saints, lean.